Hi children, how are you all? Welcome to Science with Savi. You know one thing, I was so excited to meet you all. I was just counting days to come back again with another video so that we can go ahead with the topic. We are discussing reproduction in flowering plants since few videos. In the last class, we discussed about the structure of the flower, then we discussed the pollination and agents of pollination, and today we will take the story one step ahead. Yes, we are going to talk about what happens after pollination. So we will be discussing fertilization, what is fertilization, where fertilization takes place, what happens after fertilization. We will talk about the structure of fruit, we will talk about the structure of seeds. So without wasting any time, let's start. Those who have not watched my earlier videos, I'm sending the link again in the description box. Please go there, watch the videos. You will understand the topic in an amazing way. To understand fertilization, let's see that what is fertilization and where the fertilization takes place. Fertilization is the fusion of the male cells and the female cells to form the zygote. This zygote develops into an embryo, which is the baby plant. And where the fertilization takes place? It takes place in the ovary. So now let's understand the whole process. So as we studied earlier in our last class, that the pollen grain falls on the stigma of the flower by pollination. Now what happens after this? The pollen grain which has landed on the stigma of the same kind of flower now starts germinating, and this pollen grain makes a pollen tube. The pollen tube travels through the style and it reaches the ovary. It enters the ovary through the lower end, and on entering the ovary, it reaches the ovules. The pollen grain has the male cells. The male cells from the pollen grain enter the ovules and they fuse with the egg cells which are already present there. So this fusion of the male cells and the female cells is called fertilization, and it is taking place in the ovules which are there in the ovary. So after fertilization, a zygote is formed. On further development, the zygote turns into an embryo, and this embryo is the baby plant. So now the process of fertilization is complete. Now the next question is, what will happen after fertilization? What are the changes that the flower will grow through once the fertilization is complete? So after the fertilization is done, the ovary starts swelling up, and this is the ovary which turns into the fruit. And the ovules, which are the fertilized ovules, they change into the seed. The wall of the ovary changes into the fruit wall. Now the other floral parts of the flower, like the petals, the sepals, the other part of the flower, it's not of any use because the fertilization process is over. So other parts of the flower dries up, shrivels up, and they fall down. The ovary keeps on swelling and it turns into the fruit. So these are all the changes which goes on in the flower once the fertilization process is completed. Kids, isn't it so interesting that how the ovary changes into the fruit? So when the fruit has formed, so let's discuss the structure of fruit also. So when I'm talking about fruit, the fruit is a fertilized ovary. So if I see the structure of fruit, I can see two parts. One is the pericarp and the other are the seeds. So pericarp is the outermost wall of the fruit. The pericarp can again be divided into three further parts. The outermost epicarp, the middle one mesocarp, and the innermost endocarp. The epicarp is the outermost layer which forms the skin of the fruit. The mesocarp is the middle fleshy part of the fruit which we eat, and endocarp is the rough part which holds the seed inside. So inside a fruit also all these parts are present. Now fruits can be true fruits and false fruits. Yes, fruits can be further divided into true fruits and false fruits. True fruits are those fruits in which only the ovary develops into the fruit without involving any other floral part. It's just the ovary which is developing into the fruit. In case of mango, peas, tomatoes, all these are true fruits. Now the fruits can be called as false fruits when not just the ovary, but some other part of the flower is also involved in the making of the fruit. In case of apple, strawberries, it is a receptacle also which swells up and forms the fruit. So fruits can be true fruits and false fruits. So now you know when your mama tells you to eat vegetables, Like tomatoes, brinjal and peas, they are not vegetables, they are actually fruits because they develop from an ovary and they contain the seeds. I'm so excited to know more about the seed. Once I have learned about the fruit, let's know more about seeds. So first we will study the structure of the seed. The seed are the fertilized ovules and they contain an embryonic plant which can grow into a new plant when it comes in contact with appropriate conditions. So while studying the structure of the seed, I'll show you a diagram and we will go one by one. So the seed structure can be divided into three important parts. The outermost layer of the seed is called the seed coat. It is a protective layer and it protects the seeds from drying out and it acts as a protective covering around the seed. The seed coat is also called as the testa, and the seed coat has a small opening or a pore which is called the micropyle. You know why this micropyle is so important? Because when the seed germinates, the water and air goes inside the seed through this small opening which is called the micropyle. You will also see a scar on the seed. That scar is called the hilum. It is the point where which the seeds were attached to the ovary wall. So it leaves a scar there which is known as the hilum. So then we come to the second important part which is the endosperm. Endosperm is a food store of the seed. During the time of germination, from where does the seed get the energy and the food? It gets it from the endosperm. It takes a major part of the seed. You will see the larger part of the seed is taken up by the endosperm. And the third most important part of the seed is the embryo, that is a baby plant. Yes, all the seeds which we have around us have an embryo, which is the baby plant, which can be further divided into three parts. Number one is the cotyledons. These are the embryonic leaves. These cotyledons develop into the leaves when the seed germinates. Then comes the plumule, which is the embryonic shoot. From the plumule, the stem of the plant is formed. And then comes the radicle, which is the embryonic root. That is, from here the root gets developed. And do you know when the seed germinates? It is the root, the radicle which first grow into the root and then the shoot and the cotyledons grow up. So when we have seen this, the structure of the seed, I can divide seeds into two types depending upon the number of cotyledons. This is very important. Okay, depending upon the number of cotyledon the seed is having, I can divide seeds into two types: monocotyledon seeds and dicotyledon seed. So when I say mono means one. Whenever I am using a word mono, it means one. So monocotyledon seeds will have only one cotyledon. And dicot seeds, di means two. So they will have two cotyledons. So monocot seeds and the dicot seeds. Now what is the difference between both of them? In case of monocot seeds, the major food store, that is, the supply of food comes from the endosperm. They will have an endosperm. This endosperm will be supplying food to the seed. In case of monocots, like rice, wheat, corn, all these are monocots. You can see it in your daily life that if you're eating a corn and if you see the seed properly, you will get only one single seed. Okay, it doesn't have any division or you don't see two lobes. It's just one lobe. These are the monocot seeds. They have an endosperm which act as a food store. Now let me come to the dicot seed. Since they have two cotyledons, here the endosperm is absent. Like if you observe a seed of a rajma or a chola or a chana, and if you soak it in the water and next day if you see and you open the seed coat, you find two halves. They open up, like two halves. So these are the two cotyledons. And here, since the endosperm is not present, so from where are the seeds getting the food or the energy? It is from the cotyledons. So all the kinds of legumes, pulses, they are the dicot seeds. So please, understand this very, very clearly that monocot seeds have an endosperm as a food store and the dicot seeds do not have the endosperm. They get the food energy from the cotyledons. So these cotyledons are rich in vitamins, minerals, proteins because they are giving nourishment to the seed till the seed develops its own roots and leaves. Okay, till the roots and leaves develop into the sapling or into a baby plant. Till that time, the nutrition and nourishment is received from these food stores. So my dear children, aren't seeds so important for us? I can't even imagine my life without seeds because since morning till night, Whatever I am consuming is 90% of things are seeds. When I wake up in the morning and I have a cup of coffee, do you know from where the coffee beans come? They are the seeds. When I have the cereals, all the rice, wheat, maize, all the kind of cereals which are having in my diet are seeds. All the kinds of legumes, pulses, your dal, your rajmas, cholas, and every kind of thing, the sprouts which you're having, all are seeds. Even the oil which we use in the cooking, the soya bean oil, the peanut oil, the sunflower oil, all these oils are obtained from the seeds. And even the spices, when you have an aroma of the biryani cooking in your house, it's because of the spices. Also, all these spices like the black pepper, the cumin seeds, the carom seeds, all are the seeds. So just imagine if you wipe out seed from your life will be very, very difficult. So I hope you have really enjoyed this session today and understood a lot about fertilization, the structure of fruit, the structure of seed. So in the next video, we will see that how the seeds are dispersed and how the seed germination take place. So don't forget to like it, share it, subscribe it, so that you get the updates of all my videos coming. And I really need a lot of support and love from all of you so that I can keep myself improving day by day. So see you soon. Take care. Keep exploring. Keep learning. Bye bye.